Hi everybody. Today I'm going to just create a simple little black and white collage, 5 inches by 5 inches. I've got 140-pound cold press watercolor paper for my substrate. I have a little bit of black cardstock, and I've got a black and white line drawing image that I'm going to tear up, and a black and white glossy magazine ad for this beautiful watch, which I was looking for images that would fit my 5 by 5, so I'm going to use a portion of this watch because it's way too big. Anyhow, the challenges of working small. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull out this fun little tool. This is a decal edge ruler for tearing an irregular edge on your papers. And I'm going to trim this down so it's a little bit bigger than my 5-inch substrate. And the way to use this is that you hold the ruler down on your paper and you kind of have to guide it along as you tear. Obviously, you don't need one of these. You could tear this by hand. You could tear it with a regular ruler, but this gives me a nice uneven kind of random edge. There's 2 different sides on this one. So I'm going to continue to tear a few of these little strips. And of course you could just do some straight tears with just a regular ruler. So I'm just tearing some strips. I'm going to be weaving some papers together today. I'm making them different widths. Not all the same. Oops. And that's probably enough since my big old watch is going to cover a lot of this. So I'm going to lay out a few vertical strips. And you can mix them up. You know, they all came from the same image, but we can mix them up. And then I'm going to just weave this. So over this one on the right, under that, and over. Over, under, over. And something like that. Now what I am going to do to make it easier is I'm going to first glue down the edges of my vertical strips. Just tack them down so they don't go anywhere. This is not going to, the background's not going to be a tight weave. I want to leave some white space. I want to Just kind of make a playful little woven background. So I'm just tacking down this top edge. With my glue stick. And then I will weave paper through, over, under, and decide where I want to place it. So I like that there. A little bit of glue stick to hold that end, and a little bit to hold on that end. You don't need to glue the whole weaving down. As long as your edges are tacked, it should be just fine. So this one I started under the paper, so I'm going to go over on this side, under, over, under. I'm going to tack that end down underneath, and I am leaving like an open weave, leaving some white space, some breathing room. This one's over, so I'll start the next one under, over, under, over. And actually that's probably plenty. So glue that down. And then I'm going to glue all my other ends down, and then I'll trim them. So there's glue on each of the little ends. Now trim away the overlap. Oops. Okay, so cut into the paper there just a bit. I'm going to trim that off. All right. Little open weave background, black and white. And I'm going to set that aside and come back with my large watch face, which I said I'm not going to use the whole darn thing, but I think I'm going to use maybe a quarter of it. So I'm going to cut that out. Cut it a little bit bigger than I'm planning to use. And I'm just going to roughly cut around the edge. And I'm going to look and see how the placement looks on my piece. So yeah, something like that. Now I could just glue that down, but I'm going to add a little bit more interest to this by doing some weaving with black cardstock on my watch face. So I'm going to pull out my little fingertip knife, and I'm going to go, I'm going to go vertical. If the watch is oriented that way, I'm going to go vertical, and I don't want to go too close to the edge. And I'm going to do a few vertical cuts, but not too close to the edge. You're going to get a different effect if you measure and have all of your cuts even, or if you don't measure and you have your cuts random. So those are my vertical cuts. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of black cardstock. Now the longest it's got to be is the height of my watch face, and the width of my watch face. So I'm just gonna cut a little corner out there, and again I'm gonna go and cut some straight little pieces out of the black cardstock to weave through the watch face. Thick or thin is up to you. I'm not sure how many I'm going to need, so I'm going to cut a few while I'm here. That should be enough. Set that aside, and then I'm going to start my weaving. I'm going to start behind and just weave the paper through, over, under, and with this one. So I can look at that from the back. I think I want it to stay horizontal, and so I'm going to put a little bit of glue on both ends. I'll come back and trim all these extra pieces when I'm done. The next woven piece is going to go over and then under and then over and under. That one I'm going to take all the way up to the edge. Something like that. Again, put a little dab of glue to hold that in place. And then I'm just going to continue alternating over, under, over, under. Now this one, because I didn't continue that on, I could cut that off right there and not go all the way. I think I am going to go all the way though, since I'm not weaving them right next to each other. I'm leaving a little bit of space. You know, it's a visual choice what exactly you want your weaving to look like when you're finished. So I'm going to do a couple more of these. Get in there. My fingers are getting sticky. Glue and paint and other stuff on them. So something like that. And maybe just one more. If I cut that one big enough. Maybe I've got a skinnier piece here. Just make it easier. It's easier to see where your cut marks are from the back. I say go for it. It helps to bend your paper a little bit to find them and feed it through. There we go. Oh, I like that. All right, tack that down. And now I'm just going to trim around my little watch, my little edges that are hanging over. And that's kind of what I'm thinking on that woven background with the line work. And then I'm just going to glue the entire woven piece down to my background. Spare parts. Okay, so I have a little woven watch face with black cardstock strips, and my background is an open weave of that black and white line work. So that's pretty much it. Weaving some paper and creating a little collage.